Coming up on Mustang World News, 1 week until Election Day, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton make a final push to undecided voters, but polls show Trump is still losing ground. However, Clinton's email controversy continues as WikiLeaks continues to dump thousands of emails from Clinton's campaign chair, John Podesta. And finally, the West and Russia continue to divide themselves following a week of increased military by NATO and Russia. Mustang World News starts now.
Broadcasting from Mustang News International Headquarters on Cal Poly's campus, this is Mustang World News.
Hello, and welcome to Mustang World News. I'm Naba Ahmed. We begin today with the race for the White House. 1 week out, and Donald Trump is still fighting to regain ground lost after the debates and the release of the Hollywood Access tape. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, is turning her focus to helping Democrats in the Senate and congressional races around the country. Clinton's turned her focus off her own campaign due to polls giving her a cushioned lead over Trump. A Fox News poll has Clinton leading Trump by 3 points, and a CNN poll gives Clinton an 8-point lead over Trump. However, the election is seen almost virtually as polls in the battleground states such as Nevada and Florida show a close race amongst voters. New York Representative Chris Collins said the election is still a toss-up.
I think it's about a toss-up, and I think we're seeing that in the polls as things have tightened the last few days. And we're down to the 6 or so battleground states that are going to decide this election November 8th. And guess what? That's where the candidates are hanging out.
Early voting has begun in numerous states, including Florida, which has a large Hispanic population. The number of Latino voters are expected to increase compared to previous elections. Ana Cabrera shows us. Their vote will be pivotal in battleground states such as Florida and Nevada.
I didn't have papers. I didn't have a family in the United States. The only thing I have is a big bag of dreams.
Flor Cardona immigrated from Mexico 16 years ago.
This is my son. He's 21 now.
Cardona is a single mom, a high school counselor, a cancer survivor, and now a U.S. citizen.
Last Saturday, I voted for first time.
Voting early for Hillary Clinton.
I stand for her because, first of all, is a strong woman like me.
Why not Donald Trump?
Donald Trump, attack Latinos, attack women, attack the community.
Does the Trump campaign care about the Latino vote?
Absolutely. Since prior to the caucus here, we've been engaging the Hispanic community on a near daily basis.
Both campaigns believe they need this voting bloc.
Making sure that Latinos turn out in high rates is a strategic priority for us.
Both camps have deployed Spanish-speaking canvassers, and the Clinton team has invested in Spanish-language ads.
Como presidenta, solo Hillary Clinton.
They're targeting a possible record number of Hispanic voters this year, with 27.3 million eligible to cast ballots, an increase of 4 million since 2012, according to the Pew Research Center. And in at least 4 battlegrounds, including Nevada, Arizona, Florida, and Colorado, the share of the Latino vote 4 years ago was larger than the 10% share nationwide. It's exactly why statements like this,
but we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out,
have GOP pollster Whit Ayers shaking his head.
We don't have enough time in this interview to list all of Donald Trump's mistakes.
Ayers points to his party's so-called autopsy of what went wrong in 2012, when Mitt Romney won just 27% of the Latino vote. The RNC wrote in its post-mortem report, if Hispanic Americans perceive that a GOP nominee or candidate does not want them in the United States, i.e. self-deportation, they will not pay attention to our next sentence.
Given the growth of the Hispanic vote, for a Republican to be competitive, they need to be somewhere north of 40% among Hispanics.
Is that possible?
Absolutely. Look, Latinos want what everyone else wants. They want a better quality of life.
I think we are going down the wrong path.
Irma Aguirre is an entrepreneur. El Sombrero Mexican Bistro is her pride and joy.
This is a celebration of my heritage.
Yet she's not offended by Trump's comments about Mexicans.
I did not hear him insult Mexicans. What I heard him say was that Mexico basically allows a lot of the corruption to flow over into our country.
And she supports Trump because he knows business.
Someone that I know is a doer, like myself, has a dream, has a vision and brings it to reality by working super, super hard.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is still without internet connection as he continues to take refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy. However, this has not stopped WikiLeaks from dumping thousands of emails about Hillary Clinton every day. The new emails show revelations about the deep inner workings of the Obama administration, the Clintons' campaign, her inner circle, and Clinton herself. However, Democrats are denying the truth about the content, but Republicans are pushing for an explanation.
I think what we do know is that the Clintons have led this foundation for many years, have done a lot of good around the world, and behind the scenes, I think it's just more gobbledygook for people to digest. It really doesn't really change anything at this point.
Fully public emails, WikiLeaks, prove otherwise. A Clinton spokesman, Josh Warren, sent an email saying, quote, "Looks like the president just said he found out Hillary Clinton was using her personal email when he saw it on the news." Oh, that's nice. But Cheryl Mills, Clinton's chief of staff, the State Department, replied, quote, listen to this, "We need to clean this up. He has the emails from her. They do not say state.gov.
With more on these emails, we go now to Cecilia Vega from ABC News.
Good morning to you. Clinton will be here in North Carolina, hoping the star power of the First Lady can help her here in this battleground. But first, those WikiLeaks emails, something her campaign does not want to be dealing with just days to go until Election Day. This morning, newly leaked documents casting a shadow on the Clinton campaign. This 2011 memo from Bill Clinton's longtime aide revealing how he pressured donors to steer business opportunities to the former president after he left the White House, including paid speaking engagements that reportedly earned the Clintons tens of millions of dollars. The aide describing these efforts as Bill Clinton, Inc. ABC News has not independently verified the documents, the Clinton campaign not commenting on individual emails. With days to go, Hillary Clinton stealing a page from Donald Trump's playbook, attacking her opponent for taking a break from campaigning.
Donald Trump is taking time off the campaign trail to officially open the hotel.
And trying a scare tactic to convince supporters to go vote early.
Donald Trump says he can still win, and he's right.
Today, she is calling in backup, her superstar surrogate, First Lady Michelle Obama, side by side with Clinton on the campaign trail for the very first time. She is the not-so-secret weapon who seems to love her new role. And now Clinton looking ahead to election night, her team announcing it will hold her election night party in New York City in this arena under a literal giant glass ceiling, hoping for a symbolic victory that would shatter it into 1,000,000 pieces. Yeah, there is no question that Team Clinton is feeling very confident right now, but they are sounding the alarms this morning about complacency. Their biggest fear, George, is that supporters will not go out to vote because they are so confident about this election.
Coming up after the break, hidden tunnels, rebel forces, fighting ISIS discover underground passages, and Clarissa Ward will give us a tour when Mustang World News continues.
Kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
So shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Tensions between the U.S. and Russia continue to rise as top military officials on both sides have been warning their governments about the possibility of war. In the past week, Russian vessels have entered the Mediterranean Sea and continue their voyage to the Syrian coast. The U.S. and its NATO allies have responded by sending troops to the Russian border in Eastern Europe. Britain has pledged more troops to the region in the next couple of days. The U.S. has deployed ships into the Black Sea, and Russia has warned of a serious response. Election rigging is the one topic at the heart of the strained relations between the U.S. and Russia. Russia Today has more on these tensions.
Living in London, who would have thought that Vladimir Putin would be front and center in this presidential election year? During the last debate, Hillary Clinton was challenged about open borders in the Western Hemisphere, and her reaction was, Donald Trump is going to be, if elected, a puppet of Vladimir Putin. That's very difficult to connect those two dots, but even more bizarre is how Vladimir Putin and Russia found itself front and center in this election.
Well, it's quite surprising, and it's equally silly. Hillary Clinton, of course, has met Vladimir Putin many times. Donald Trump hasn't met him ever. He's expressed that he wants to, which is obviously going to be a priority when he becomes the president. Now, turning to the debate itself, when she went on one of her quite hysterical and nonsensical anti-Putin rants in the middle of a question about Mexican immigration, what that has to do with Russia, no man can say. Her ratings, in terms of her approval, fell dramatically during that portion. There's a focus group that does a little monitor of people's approval of the candidate's statements, and much like a hot monitor for a dying patient, not that she would know what that might look like, her ratings plunged both amongst her supporters and undecided, and of course Trump supporters, so it doesn't play well. Most Americans don't know a great deal about Putin, many more don't care, and quite a few more of them are beginning to say, well, he looks competent and our leaders don't. He looks strong, and to quote Mr. Lavrov, our leaders are rather pussified, and he actually stands up against terrorism, which most Americans are frightened of. They're not exactly frightened against President Assad in Damascus miles away. The weirdest thing, though, of all, is that they did agree on one thing. For the first time in American presidential history, both of the major candidates agree the election is rigged. The only thing they disagree on is who is rigging it and against whom.
According to the U.S. Central Command, a top American general says that up to 900 ISIS fighters have been killed since the assault of Mosul. However, there could be as many as 5,000 ISIS fighters still inside Mosul, with up to 2,000 more in the defensive zone around it. We follow CNN reporter Arwa Damon as she reports from Erbil, Iraq.
Inside a residential home. All of the rooms have been filmed with the dirt that they dug out from underneath so that no one could see what it was that they were up to. They've dismantled some IEDs, explosives that they found down inside as well. When they came, they saw that this ladder was already in place. They found a couple of drills and wheelbarrows that they've removed. Look at this cable. They were even running electricity down here. This is another of the tires that the counterterrorism soldiers burnt inside this tunnel to try to suffocate any ISIS fighters that may have been inside, and that's why there's this black soot that's covering everything. It's sort of a staircase that they've carved out that goes all the way up to the road. It's pretty narrow and hard to move through here. Oh, yep. This goes all the way up into a hole that opens up onto the street that we were just walking down, and ISIS fighters were able to use this to move up and launch surprise attacks on troops as they were advancing. But he was saying that it also serves as a way to circulate oxygen because this tunnel complex is pretty far underground and it goes off in yet another direction. Wow, they have a fan down here as well. This distance that we just came through underground, had they been able to complete it, this would have opened up on the other side of the main street.
In North Dakota, law enforcement is closing in on the Dakota Access Pipeline protesters. Hundreds of police officers in riot gear with heavy military equipment are moving protesters from their encampment off private land. The number of arrested is still unclear. For the past few months, protesters mixing of Native Americans and environmental activists have been protesting a pipeline that would cut through Native American sacred land. As of now, there has been no resolution on either side. There was major discovery for the Christian world. A burial slab believed to have held the body of Jesus Christ has been uncovered in Jerusalem. The slab of limestone, known as the burial bed, was discovered while construction workers were restoring the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. It's believed to have been covered since 1555. Researchers are now hoping to study the original stone to better understand Jesus' tomb as well as Christ himself. The church where the slab was found is shared with 6 Christian sects, including the Greek Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church. Coming up, political pumpkins are the newest thing this autumn, and a Halloween costume's take on a certain cell phone safety recall is smoking. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
He's big, he's orange, and he'll probably make a stink come November. It's Trumpkin, and he's coming to a porch near you this Halloween. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
With Halloween just around the corner, it makes perfect sense that Wednesday is National Pumpkin Day. And what better way to celebrate than with a Trumpkin? One Ohio homeowner is ringing in the holiday, not to mention the impending election, with a porch full of politically charged gourds. There's Trumpkin, of course, but also his opponent, Hillary Clinton. And for good measure, Vladimir Putin. The display's creator says, in fairness, both Trumpkin and Clinton weigh about the same, but Putin is heavier to represent Putin's heavy influence on the election. Topical. You too can be topical this Halloween. Just check out this homemade costume poking a little fun at Samsung's ongoing Galaxy Note 7 recall. The embattled tech giant had to pull millions of the phones from shelves following reported fire and explosion concerns, and one self-proclaimed Apple user decided to add insult to injury by pairing up his vaporizer with a bunch of Note 7 boxes and going viral to the tune of over 4 million views as a smoking Galaxy Note 7. Oh, and his fiancé is apparently dressing as a firefighter. Now you're just being mean. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, that's Mustang World News for this week. I'm Naba Ahmed. From all of us here at Mustang News and Abroad, thanks for watching. Have a great day.